And them dog fights, man, that fourth preseason game, that's a dog fight. And the fact that they was confident in me and believed in me and trusted me enough that I didn't have to play it, I mean, says a lot about how hard I worked, and it was just a great feeling. I almost cried, to be real. It kind of feels good to be on a different side of things.
Today's Friday, September 28th. This is the Cowboys Beat on CLNS Media. I'm Ari Temkin. We're loaded up on the Cowboys Beat today. A couple of defensive starters will join the podcast, including Chidobe Awuzie, Cowboys starting corner. And we'll also talk with Antwuan Woods, who went from unknown when training camp started to starter along the defensive tackle position. So both Chidobe Awuzie and Antwuan Woods join the Cowboys Beat today. But we start by talking about the Cowboys offense because, of course, what in God's name is wrong with the Dallas Cowboys offense? Is it fixable? When this season started, there were certainly expectations for this offense, but perhaps they were a bit tempered because we hadn't seen much in training camp. We hadn't seen much in the preseason, but I think everybody was in this sort of wait-and-see approach with it. We hadn't seen Zeke Elliott at all in the preseason. We hadn't seen their full complement of offense in the preseason. So I think expectations were certainly tempered to a degree, but the Cowboys, after 3 weeks, are abysmal, to put it mildly, on offense. They're averaging 13.7 points per game through the first 3 weeks of the season. That is atrocious in 2018 in the National Football League. In fact, it's probably worse than atrocious. Teams in the modern-day NFL need to score between 20 and 30 points a game to give their team a chance. I don't care how good your defense is. I mean, you need the 85 Bears to basically be able to score 14 points a game and win a considerable amount of games. So the Cowboys' offense is without a doubt a big, big issue. Their defense has been good and at times great, but it takes more than 13.7 points per game to win in the NFL, regardless of how good your defense is. The first thing about the offense, because I think, there's all this confusion. You have, is it Dak or is it the offensive line or is it the play calling? Is it Linehan and Garrett, who we'll call Garahan for this episode? I think there's all of these questions for why the offense is as bad as it is. I think first things first, I think we live in a world now where either you have to defend a guy like Dak Prescott or now you're a Dak hater, as opposed to sort of looking at this from a realistic standpoint without having skins in the game, if you will, right? Like without having a rooting interest to a degree, I can sit there and look at how Dak Prescott has performed and give you an analysis of what I've seen from how he's performed, and that doesn't make me a Dak hater. It doesn't mean he's a bad guy. It's not any indictment on him, the person, in any capacity whatsoever. It's just simply like this is a bottom line business. If you're not performing, you are on your way out, and that's the bottom line with Dak Prescott. So when we look at this offense, it's for it to be this bad, it's everything. If you're asking me, is it Dak Prescott? Is it the offensive line? Is it the lack of weapons on the outside? Is it the offensive coordinator? Is it the quarterback's coach? Yes, the answer is yes. It is all of those things. Because when you have this goulash of suckitude that the Cowboys offense has been, then it has to be everything. And it takes a few little adjustments here or there, not a drastic overhaul of things, in order to maybe get a different and perhaps better output. Is it Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott has not been great. It's now been 5 straight games where he's had sub 200-yard passing games. He's overthrowing receivers. He's not accurate, or his accuracy is inconsistent. He's, at this point, a guy that you would say pretty comfortably is not a $100 million quarterback. Is it the play calling? Is it the offensive schemes? Is it Garahan? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at the modern NFL, how teams utilize wide receivers, how they utilize different personnel groupings, the types of routes they call, the types of personnel packages they use, the types, how often teams go play action. When you look at the modern game, the Cowboys aren't really putting any components of the modern offensive game into their offense. We've talked on the Cowboys beat about the effectiveness of throwing to your running back and tight ends on early down passing. According to Warren Sharp, who's done the analytics on it, when you throw to non-wide receivers on first and second down, you have a 58% success rate, meaning you're going to get a first down when you throw to a running back or a tight end on first or second down, 58% of the time. Conversely, when you throw to your running back on third down, that has a 28% success rate. The Cowboys, through the first 3 weeks, are only utilizing Zeke Elliott in the passing game on third down situations, which, again, according to the analytics, is the worst, most least efficient time to throw the football to your running back. Teams are now utilizing play action a lot. In 2016, when Dak Prescott was a rookie, they ran play action passes or play action plays 24% of the time. That was fourth in the NFL in 2016. In 2018, that would be 14th. Teams have uber athletic playmaking tight ends. The Cowboys really don't. Their most athletic playmaking tight end is a 6'8" former basketball player. There are so many components of the modern game that are completely devoid from the Cowboys' offense. Absolutely, schemes and play calling are playing a role in this. I touched on the tight ends, but a lack of playmakers. That is absolutely a part of this too. Most teams have multifaceted receivers, a legitimate X receiver that they can line up, that is your go-to kind of guy. The Cowboys don't have. The bottom line is the Cowboys are built to win by running the football. And as Zeke Elliott told us in the locker room the other day, when you're down 2 scores, you can't afford 9-minute drives that try to really run the ball down the other team's throat. You have to play from ahead. And that's been the struggle with the Cowboys thus far. The assumption is they don't have a strength. That's what Tony Romo said on 105.3 The Fan earlier this week. It's what Jesse Holley, my co-host on the pregame show and the postgame show along with the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, has been saying basically all year. This team doesn't know what its identity is. They don't have a strength, something that they're going to go to when times get tough. The core of sports, truthfully, the core of sports is you win when you can consistently exploit your strengths and expose the opposition's weaknesses. Look at the 2 losses for the Cowboys. That tells you the story. The Cowboys couldn't exploit their strengths. Instead, it was the Carolina Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks exposing the Cowboys' weaknesses, their inability to consistently make plays down the field and get points quickly. Now, again, in 2018 in the NFL, you have to have an offense that can pass and score points quickly, but the Cowboys don't. They don't. And that might be play calling, it might be scheming, it might be quarterback, it might be receivers, but they can't reinvent themselves to all of a sudden become this high-powered passing attack. What they have to do is continue to use Zeke to open up the pass and not fall in love with the pass early in games, which allows them to fall and lose and get down. But, I mean, when you look at this offense, the things I just documented, right, a lack of ingenuity or creativity in evolving to fit your schematics offensively, to fit the modern game, the quarterback and the major question marks around his ability, the lack of playmakers, as the Cowboys essentially did by design going into this season, and then their lack of tight ends. Maybe Jason Witten retiring caught them off guard, whatever the case might be. The Cowboys, again, are completely unable to put points on the board, as we've seen through the first 3 weeks of the season. And the question is, can they change it? Well, it's hard to believe that what we've seen through 3 weeks of the NFL season, and if we're being honest, what we saw in training camp, what we saw in the preseason, it's one and the same. So why would we expect it to suddenly change when this is what we've come to expect? But I've always said, You judge a football team based upon quarters. A quarter of the season will give you a pretty good indication of what that team is. It doesn't mean it's always going to stay that way, but one game can be an anomaly. 4 games, though, quarter of a season, that's a pattern that tells you what that team is. So Sunday, 12 noon Central, Cowboys will host the Detroit Lions. And you could probably say their season's on the line. You go 1-3 with an uninspiring offense, and you know what this team is. And now we're on a road to, when will Linehan get fired? When will Jason Garrett get fired? What will the Cowboys do in the first round? Should they draft a quarterback? Now you start to look amazingly 1 month in at what this team will look like in the future. But if they win, it may be a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, but 2-2 is still very much in the thick of it. And if they win, at least their offense will have some positives to go off of that we could look forward to and say, well, maybe these things will carry over here into the second quarter of the season. We're going to talk to Chidobe Awuzie in a moment, Antwuan Woods later, but first I've got to tell you about the greatest piece of luggage I've ever owned. And the best thing that I can tell you about away travel is that it is the last piece of luggage you'll ever have to own. It's unbelievably durable. It has a built-in charger pack so you can charge your phone, your iPad, anything else that needs a charge while you're on the go. Away Travel has literally thought of everything that goes along with traveling. Away Travel. Visit awaytravel.com/beat and pick out the next piece of luggage that you'll own, and I promise you it'll be the last piece of luggage that you'll ever own. You can choose from a variety of colors and sizes, the carry-on, the bigger carry-on, the medium, or the large for an extended stay. I have the carry-on. It is absolutely perfect for me. All suitcases are made with premium German polycarbonate, unrivaled in strength and impact resistance, also very, very lightweight. The interior features a patent-pending compression system, which is helpful for the overpackers like myself. It also have 4 360-degree spinner wheels, guarantee the smooth ride, a TSA-approved combination lock built into the top of the bag to prevent theft, removable washable laundry bag to keep your dirty clothes separate from your clean clothes. They have thought of everything, plus both sizes of the carry-on are able to charge all cell phones, tablets, e-readers, and anything else that's powered by a USB cord. A single charge of an away carry-on will charge your phone 5 times. Lifetime warranty. If anything breaks, they will fix it or replace it for life. And here's the best part. How about a 100-day trial? Live with it, vibe with it, travel with it, Instagram it. If at any point you decide it's not for you, return it for a full refund, no questions asked. Plus, you get a free shipping on all away orders within the lower 48 states. Go to awaytravel.com/beat. Use promo code BEAT, B-E-A-T, and get $20 off your suitcase at checkout. Again, awaytravel.com/beat. Use promo code BEAT, and you're going to get $20 off your first suitcase. I promise you, this is the greatest piece of luggage you will ever own. You're going to buy a carry-on, and then you're going to decide you love it. And like myself, you're going to buy the medium carry-on. And if you love it, you're going to buy the large, because everybody in your family, every time you travel, has to have an away travel suitcase. They have thought of everything. It is the luggage that works for you. awaytravel.com/beat. awaytravel.com/beat. And again, you'll get $20 off your suitcase when you use promo code BEAT, B-E-A-T, awaytravel.com/beat. All right, let's visit with Chidobe Awuzie on the Cowboys beat now. And, man, I've got to tell Chidobe about away travel luggage, but I guess, Chidobe, this Lions team that you're facing this Sunday, man, they've got a lot of different weapons, a lot of different receivers. Is that going to change your game plan defensively for how you're going to match up with them?
Nothing really changes. We prepare the same way. So we know our techniques and, our scheme of defense. And we know that if we do what we got to do, and if we're on our P's and Q's, we're able to hang with anybody. So we're just preparing the same way and really focusing on us right now.
Do you want, as the competitor, do you want to travel around the field? Do you want to go to different spots and take on a different receiver or a number one receiver? Is that in you as far as, your competitiveness?
I don't think it's a thing of competitiveness. If I was starting to do that, it's not in our scheme, then I would think that would be selfish. A lot of those corners that do that, they go to that receiver, but then they end up playing cover 2, cover 3, or
It's the same thing. So, we're very confident in the corners that we have here. Even all the way down to the, me, Byron, J. Lou, AB, and even the guys in the practice squad. Any of us, we're all coached the same way. We all teach each other, learn from each other. So whoever's, if a receiver that's really good lined up against any of us, I'm taking us every time. So I think that just goes that we're going to focus on ourselves and make sure that our technique is correct.
Seems like you've changed a little bit from last year, even from the start of training camp. I mean, this year you came in, you had that swagger, you had that confidence. Did you change, or is it just that you were in your second year and not a rookie anymore? I
mean, you always hope to grow in this game, and hopefully I have grown. I've definitely grown mentally. My health wise, I've grown, and physically I have grown. So, that's definitely the goal. And now it's just putting it all together and putting it on the field. So, we just got done with week 3, and it's still the beginning of the season, and we still getting a feel for each other on this field, and hopefully as a whole we could all grow as a team, and I think that's happening right now. We just gotta be able to trust each other and trust our technique.
I'm with you on life is an eternal growth mentally. Yeah. What was the impetus for you, or was it just like that's just who you are as a person?
That's pretty much who I am as a person. I'm always trying to figure out some way to get better, or to be more confident, to be more comfortable with myself, just in my stance or out of a break. So, I think that just goes with everybody. I think it goes a lot with, knowing these guys and being around these elite NFL players. You learn that, they're always trying to get better. And then you can always ask them a question, and any little thing can get you better. As long as they can help you like 0.2%, 0.2% better than last year. You combine that after 5 years, that's 1%. And you doing that with multiple players, you're always getting better. So I think that's just really a goal that Coach Richard brought with us, that we're always trying to teach and learn from each other.
What else did Chris Richard bring to the table? It seems like he's really created a different mentality in this locker room, especially for you guys.
He's really, emphasized the idea of doing right, not really trying to take chances or gamble or, kind of play out of the scheme. Just do right, and then do right longer, outlast the opponent, and I think that's really helped with this.
When did it hit you with him here? Like, was it right away, where you just bought in right away?
Right away. I mean, I heard about him from one of my old college teammates that was in Seattle, Tedrick Thompson, who played safety with him. And then, when he came here, he already told me, my friend told me that, how Coach Richard was and how much of an intense guy he is and how I'd really like him. And then when first time I met him, we were standing in this locker room like this, and we had a great talk, and he had the same talk with everybody. And that's the thing, he don't change towards nobody. He's the same way, nothing ever changes, and he just, always teaches the same way, and it's very relatable.
Is he inspirational?
Definitely. I mean, he has a story, of his own personal story, and, his story is inspirational, and the way he coaches is inspirational.
What is that, the story, and what you bought into that as an inspiration?
Well, I mean, I think that's for him to, when it's his time, sure. Yeah, if he wants to say it, but, just everything he says to us, and, I think he's just a very relatable guy.
The personal sort of, relationships, bigger than football kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, of course. And, those are things that, the beauty of being in the locker room, you get to learn so many guys, learn so many guys, inspirations, passions, and I think that's what really makes a team a team.
There was a lot of talk this offseason and then into training camp about you taking that next step. I know Gil Brandt, who's very well respected, he mentioned your name as far as young guys in this defense that could be Pro Bowlers. Do you hear that kind of stuff? Does that motivate you, or is it just part of the work you put in?
I'm used to being the underdog, honestly.
So you don't like it?
I mean, yeah, I'm just used to doing my job and, judging myself, having high expectations for myself. When it's from others, it kind of, feels weird because they weren't with me when I was, really in the 105-degree Texas heat, doing drills for 2 hours or something like that. I mean, like, there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's not really predictions that people can make. You know what I'm saying? So
you just show up here and all of a sudden become a better player.
I mean, yeah, that's what they're thinking. But, I mean, it takes a lot. And I think you've seen that with a lot of players on our team. Guys like Byron Jones. Who would have thought, all these years he's playing safety that he could be, one of the elite corners in this game, and he's done such a great job. Jeff Heath, was counted out from the beginning. Now he's, starting this defense, been an all-star for us, helped us get lined up, all of that stuff, making great tackles. I think all of us have a story, and, a lot of people don't hear that side of it, but we're all motivated kind of internally.
You know, we talk about individual talent, and obviously at the DB position you can see it, but how important is it for the DB group to be cohesive, you know, to understand, have trust that the guys are going to be where they're supposed to be?
That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? When I said Coach Richard talked about doing right, you know, that's all part of it. You know, being on the same page, and trusting your teammate that, you know, if he has the flats, he has the flats. If he has deep, he has deep. And I think that's something that, you know, some of the things that have been given up on our team so far has kind of been a part of that, you know, just getting the hang of the defense, getting the hang of communication, hang of our keys. And I think, you know, a lot of that has been on us, but we're going to definitely get better at it.
Are you a music guy? Are you into music?
Yeah.
What, yet listening to anything new that you like? What are you listening to?
All Bay Area artists. SOB, RBE, Mike Sherm, All Black. People you never heard of.
Why do you think you've ever heard of them?
They're very underground right now. You know, haven't got a lot of national play. Only people that know them pretty much are from the Bay Area. If you're from the Bay Area, they're like, oh, okay, maybe you know them.
Is it a certain style?
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, NWA. Like it's like SOB, RBE, kind of like that.
Northern California stole Southern California's thunder a little bit.
Hey, how do you know that NWA didn't steal before that? You know what I'm saying?
True.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's just, all these people being kind of reckless, young, you know, confident. You know, I kind of relate to that.
Is that what you listen to before games?
I listen to everything. I listen to gospel, slow jams. I just let my thing play.
Just let it ride.
Yeah.
That's Chidobe Awuzie, Dallas Cowboys starting corner, visiting with us right here on the Cowboys beat, and went from one underdog to the next underdog, Antwuan Woods, who, man, what an amazing story. This is a guy that nobody had heard anything about before training camp started. And then a few weeks into training camp, he had a little bit of a tiff, a fight with Travis Frederick, had to be separated, and the very next day, Antwuan Woods was lined up there at starting defensive tackle, and he hasn't looked back ever since. And before we visit with Antwuan Woods, I've got to tell you about BetDSI.com. They've been paying winners for 20 years, top-rated on betting site reviews. Use your sports knowledge to make some extra cash. Go online on their easy-to-use mobile site. Fastest payouts in the industry. Play, win, get paid. It's that easy. BetDSI.com offers betting options for everything. Bet on football and other major sports, politics, reality television, esports. You could bet on virtually anything. Try live betting at BetDSI.com, or you can bet on every play, every drive, and every score until the final whistle blows. Use promo code Cowboys18, and your first time deposit gets you a 100% bonus match on your money up to $500. Cowboys18, that's the promo code. I play there myself, and I recommend BetDSI if you want to add some excitement to the games you're watching. This week, Cowboys and Lions, the line is -3. I'm taking the Cowboys because I like them to play at home. I like them to coming off the loss they had. Plus, the Lions had a very emotional win last week, so I like the Cowboys at -3. But here's the better bet. The over-under is 44 on this game. When you look at the Cowboys offense, the Cowboys defense, ball control, if you think they're going to win, then parlay the -3 and the under 44. That's what I would tell you to do, because this game has a very, very high probability of hitting the under. So go to BetDSI.com now. Use promo code Cowboys18. Get this limited time 100% bonus up to $500. Again, Cowboys18 is the promo code at BetDSI.com, and I would take the Cowboys -3 plus the under. The over-under is 44 in this game. I'll take the under. It's only a game until you bet at BetDSI. How about the bet on Antwuan Woods making this football team? Crazy story for Antwuan Woods, and let's visit now with Antwuan Woods, starting defensive tackle for the Dallas Cowboys. And Antwuan, has this been as crazy of an experience for you as it's seemingly been for the media? I mean, to go from an unknown at training camp to now starting for the Dallas Cowboys, it's a very rare thing.
Yeah, kind of, but I kind of already knew. You know, because I have confidence in myself. I really just needed the right opportunity and the right people to believe in me. But, I mean, I always knew I can play on this level and do what I can do, so I'm not surprised that part. But it just feels good. I am surprised a little bit that it happened so quick, but, hey, I mean, I put in the work and, you know, it happens.
Did you learn a lot from your experiences last year? You were, on practice squad?
Man, the past 2 years, really just really, the past 2 years, it haven't really changed. As good as I'm doing here, I was probably doing even better in Tennessee. It's just that, people kept putting me through hoops, and just because I look a certain way or maybe build a certain way, I'm shorter than typical D lineman. But last year, man, I learned a lot about myself and this business. So it just kind of did something to me mentally that kind of made me hungry, like way more hungry. And me just being undrafted made me just always got a chip on my shoulder.
Have people never heard of Anthony or Aaron Donald?
Huh?
Have people never heard of Aaron Donald? Do you talk about short?
Yeah, but he's short, but he's different. I'm short, I got short arms, and I'm a nose tackle, so it's just different.
So what was it like for you when you first started kind of get with that first team defensive line? And, did you have that confidence and you start to see how good this defensive line could be?
I had the confidence since the day I got here, May 30th. I knew I was going to put my best foot forward every time and let people above me make some decisions, but I knew I would make it hard for anybody. I'll make it hard just because of my competitive nature. But, it feels great being out there, just being accountable to my teammates in the defense and, making everybody's job easy.
When did you know you were going to make this team?
About the third. We're really going to the fourth week when they told me I didn't have to play.
Yeah, that's considering where you'd been the previous couple of years. You were probably like, "Wow, that's
I've
as good
been
as
in
it gets."
them dog fights, man. That fourth preseason game. That's a dog fight, and the fact that they was confident in me and believed in me and trusting me enough that I didn't have to play it. Says a lot about how hard I worked, and it was just a great feeling. I almost cried, to be real. It kind of feels good to be on a different side of things.
What was that first sack like?
Oh, man, great. It was the first home game, first sack of my NFL career. My dad and wife and son was there to see it, and everybody back at home watching. It was a great feeling, and it was on Eli Manning. I've been a Peyton Manning fan my whole life, so it was kind of good. I got his little brother, but, man, it was a great feeling.
Are you from Southern California?
Yes, L.A., Los Angeles.
So what was it like for you to go to school at USC?
Best time in the world. I literally lived 5 minutes from USC, so literally it was just home. And it was just, the fact that, my friends and family that's local could see me play my whole college career is pretty dope. Yeah.
What's this defense going to be like missing Sean Lee?
Man, Terminator. I call Sean Terminator, man.
Why?
Just because he's so sharp. He terminates things. He's sharp. He don't let nothing get past him. He's smart. He's locked in. He knows everything. But we're definitely going to miss him out there. And just his presence of just how he played the game. But I think 55 he'd do just fine.
You guys were putting up sacks the first couple of games that, like, when you didn't have one or you only had a few against Russell Wilson, it was like, what went wrong? What do you think they did against you last week that maybe neutralized your guys' pass rush?
Nothing really. It's just they was just getting it out fast and running. They were running the ball a lot. So it was nothing really they did. They maybe just threw the ball quicker than we can get there, but we got to be better. But nothing really.
So your family living out here now, or?
Yes, my wife and son is out here now.
That's great. So that's like, it's got to be one of those things that people don't think about. But like when you start training camp, you're not sure if you're gonna make the team. So like, how does that whole situation work when you have a wife and kid?
That's the reason why I respect my wife because during the stressful times where I'll be stressing, not really stressing,
right? Just
when there's a question mark of job security or there's no security in the job, she kind of holds it down and keeps it together. When there's time, I'm like, I'm not sure if we're going to be in Dallas or I'm not sure we're going to be in Tennessee. She kind of keeps our family together in that order and always having faith in me. And so, which that makes it easier for me come to perform. But it was kind of a relief knowing that once I figure out I made it and all that, I kind of, can call her back in California. And we're just like, we can move to Dallas now. It was just kind of a good feeling, over the years, even when I was in Tennessee, they was out there with me in Tennessee, and it's just like, when you're on practice squad, you don't have really job security.
Right.
So it was just the fact that I can finally call her and tell her, like, we can move to Texas now. Like, we got a little bit more security now.
That's awesome.
It was a good feeling.
So what do you like? What do you like to do other than football?
I play PUBG for a living.
Play what?
PUBG, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
It's where Fortnite stole the idea from. Yeah.
You play against teammates?
We play with teammates. Me, Tank, D-Law, Ty, J. Lou.
You guys play at the same place, or you play at your own houses?
Own houses online, though. It's a great game. You should check it out, bro.
What do you play on?
Xbox.
Yeah. I used to play a lot of games, but I don't really play games anymore. I don't know why. But a lot of guys in this locker room seem to be gamers.
Yeah, it's like therapy for me. I tell my wife I need 1 to 2 hours a day, and you don't have to worry about me doing anything. And I'll always be a great guy, but just give me 1 to 2 hours of PUBG, and I'll be fine.
Have you ever played the virtual reality? Have you ever tried virtual reality video games like that stuff?
I tried it. I just wasn't into it. I kept breaking stuff around the house.
That's why you have to get like a gamer room, so like you could be in one room contained, or you're.
No, you don't need a gamer room. You need an empty room, just a screen. Yeah, you just need a screen. That's just how it works.
All right, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it, bro.
Pleasure to meet you, man.
You too, man.
All right, there you go. Chidobe, Awuzie, and Antwuan Woods visiting with us in the Cowboys beat. Cowboys and Lions, 12 noon on Sunday. You can catch me along with Jesse Holly as part of the Dallas Cowboys official pregame show on 105 through the Fan, starting at 9 a.m. Central Time. And then, of course, the postgame to follow, whether you have 105 through the Fan in the DFW area, the radio.com app, or on any of the Dallas Cowboys radio networks across the country. Also, you can stream Showtime every single day, my show, on Facebook at facebook.com/WatchPhantom, FANTOM, 12 to 1. I answer all the Cowboys questions you could ever possibly have, so make sure to check it out. I stream daily, 12 to 1, at facebook.com/WatchPhantom. And, of course, make sure to tell your friends, subscribe to the podcast, and make sure to give the podcast a rating. That really, really helps as far as the search engine to push more and more people when they search Cowboys to find this particular podcast. So thank you to everybody who's streaming this, checking this out. If this is your first time, I hope you come back next week. Same time, same place, same great interviews, same great content right here on the Cowboys Beat as part of the CLNS Media Network. For now, though, I'm out. Peace.